Okay, so first starting off, Miss Lisette, what I just want to hit on is tell our viewers why you are accepting interviews during this time. I know that you want to honor your sister. Just tell our viewers about that, please.
Um, I've been a little bit picky about what interviews I would do because I want the focus to be on Karen and to honor her and not have the focus on her murderer. So that's why I am doing these interviews, is I want to focus on Karen and how wonderful she was.
So tell us, for the viewers who do not know, tell us who is Karen? What was she like? Seeing those photos that you sent me of her, she just had a gleaming smile on her face, just seemed, you know, so happy. Can you just tell us just a little bit about her personality and who she was as a person?
So I think the pictures portray her very well. She was very gentle, quiet spirit, um, an amazing Christ follower. She had a what I call a silent, mischievous streak, um, where, she wouldn't pull pranks that were right in your face. They were just kind of quiet and mischievous, and she would get away with them too. But she loved the Lord. She loved life. She was just so happy and had such a future ahead of her.
What do you think that her career path would have been like? What could you see her getting into?
So, being a shopaholic, you don't get paid for. So she probably would have been a paralegal. And she was going to Chattanooga State for that. And she would have been amazing at that job.
Tell us a little bit about her experience at Chattanooga State. Did you know how she liked it? Any friends of hers that she really took to? Was just wondering if you could give us insight on her collegiate career.
It was good. One disadvantage that I had is my husband and I were stationed in the Philippines at the U.S. Air Force Base there for 3 years prior to her death. And so I got married and then we moved away immediately. And Karen and I did not lose touch. We stayed in touch by letters. We would call home. But things were not like they are now. You didn't have text messages, you didn't have emails. So it was kind of hard to keep up on her day-to-day life. But we had just come home from the Philippines like a few weeks before the murder, and she and I had been on the phone as much as we could, catching up, talking about me bringing my new daughter to visit and meet her. We were actually planning a trip to Chattanooga so that she and I could catch up in person, and that never happened because of the murder. But so I don't have personal knowledge of how her college days were going. I just know she was so happy, and that tells me a lot.
And could you tell me just a little bit about the legacy she leaves behind with her passing away? What are some things that you're like, Karen did this and now I'm gonna inherit those traits to keep with me for the rest of my life and even pass on down to your daughter as well?
hmm So I have two daughters, and I have always said that my youngest daughter um, got a lot of Karen's traits. She has a mischievous streak. She's very happy and bubbly. In fact, I'm just very thankful for her and for my oldest as well. But Karen's legacy was one of a gentle, spirited woman who loved Christ and wanted others to know about him and love him. Um, she and I did a lot of singing when we were growing up in the church, and so she would sing in some of the groups that I was in. Um, so. the legacy that she leaves is just amazing. It's one of a very, very special young lady.
What do you want viewers to take away from this story, Miss Lisette?
That Karen was, my parents said this in an interview, and I kind of got annoyed, but it's true. Karen was an angel on loan from heaven, and she should not have been taken away in this brutal, violent way. Um, she had so much more life to live and others impact, others' lives to impact. Um, and she didn't get that opportunity.
I want to choose my words carefully. Um, this happened in the 80s, but still in 2025. I'm sure you all are still feeling the emotion from what happened. Can you talk about how that emotion never seems to go away when speaking
Yes.
about this?
Yes. So, when it happened, Karen was 20. A lot of news reports have said she's 21, but she was 20. I was 23 and had a brand new baby girl. And as we've gone through, I was just telling my daughter this morning, as we've gone through our life over the past 35 years, we've lived in different places, we've had different groups of friends, but so many people have reached out in support because this has been such a huge part of my story and our lives. Um, so it's been very hard to get past because there hasn't been an execution. I liken it to every time we will be going along in our everyday life and we'll get a letter from the DA's office, or we'll get a friend sending me an article, or we'll hear new news about what is going on. And it's like having a wound that has a band-aid over it, and somebody's coming along and ripping that band-aid off over and over and over. And that wound is never able to heal. And having Nichols put to death is not going to bring closure. It's not going to bring Karen back. However, it will give us a chance to put a salve on that wound and let it heal. And we can focus on the good memories of Karen and not all the evilness. So it's been hard over the years. It really has. And a lot of the details that come up in the media are things that I wasn't completely aware of. And so it's like reliving this trauma like it happened yesterday. I mean, I've had some breakdowns recently where I've just sat and cried to think about what she went through. So,
I see you getting emotional now just speaking about it. How do you maintain your strength during this time?
um, I am surrounded by amazing family. I have two beautiful daughters. I have many friends. I have an amazing, amazing man for a husband. He has been the one that, when my parents couldn't, he was the one that went through the coroner's report. He is the one that read all the court documents and summed them up for me and my mom and my dad. And he is just amazing.
Will you be in Nashville tomorrow?
You know, um, I am here, but I haven't decided how here I am yet.
And do you want to expand on what you mean by that or no?
No, I don't think so. I'm still in the decision-making process, and it's very hard, given some of the emotional breakdowns I've had lately, just knowing what she's been through.
W- What is your reaction to protesters saying, you know, that they feel like Governor Bill Lee should pray with Nichols before the execution. With you saying that Karen was a Christian, does that resonate with you at all?
Um, Maybe on some level, but here's my problem with all of that. My mom met with Nichols, and the defense team has misconstrued that meeting and turned it around and made it sound like our family and she and I forgive Nichols. That is not what the intention of that meeting was. And so when you ask me, do I want Governor Lee to pray with Nichols beforehand? I don't think it's necessary. I think he's had 37 years, um, and he he just needs to die. This needs to be put to rest so that we can move forward as a family and remember Karen the way she was, not all the negative of what happened to her.
I want to switch gears to the photos that your husband sent me. Um, oh wow. Okay, so all right. I want to put up one photo for you to see. I want to see if this is you on, is this you?
Yes, that's me. That's on our wedding day.
Tell me about this day, Miss Lisette.
Oh my gosh, do I have a story for you? So, I met my husband on the mission field in the Philippines, and we were just good friends. And then towards the end of the trip, um, we began to fall in love. And so then from there, he went back to Arizona, where he was from, and I came back to Chattanooga and we started writing letters. And eventually he flew out from Arizona and asked my daddy if he could marry me. And he gave me a promise ring, and it was so cute. He gave me the promise ring with a magnifying glass so that I could find the diamond. But he gave me a promise ring, and we were promised to get married once I graduated from high school. Well, a few months go by, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but he and I broke up. And Karen was furious with me. She was like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking? He's the best thing that ever happened to you. I can't believe you're doing this." And so I got really upset with her one day and I said, "If you love him so much, you marry him." And she's like, "I just might." Well, on my wedding day, as she is helping me straighten my veil, she looks at me with that mischievous Karen grin and says, "I knew you would marry him. Remember what you said to me?" So, and I did. We've been married over 40 years. So, that day was so special, and it was so incredible to have her as my maid of honor and have her by my side. It was just a really special day.
So it's safe to say that Karen was right.
Yes, she was, and she loved every minute of that.
I love that, Miss Lisette. Okay, just wanted just to see, is there anything else? I feel like we hit everything, but is there anything else that you feel comfortable with expanding on before we conclude?
Um, no, just that our family really wants and needs to see justice happen. And, you know, the death of somebody is a serious thing, but I think we are all going to be relieved when tomorrow is over.
There any message for media outlets? Because there will be, journalists covering this event. What message do you give to media outlets during this time?
Well, one rather silly detail is that there are conflicting reports about her age. A lot of people put it at 21. She was actually 20 when this happened. So she wasn't 21. Um, her her birthday and my birthday are both in January, so I know for sure she was 20. Um, and other than that, just to have the media focus on Karen and the goodness of her life and how tragically it was taken away and not focus so much on him. He's not, he does not deserve the attention, and he's getting a lot of it. I think he is manipulative in that way and he likes to get the attention, but the attention should be on Karen as the victim.